Hey everyone, welcome back to the Unaware
What's
Podcast,
up?
the show where we talk about the idea that it's okay to be unaware, that it's okay not to know the outcome and to chase your dreams. We also have a special guest on today, one of me and Paul's great friends, but we'll get to introducing her later. But as first, it is your host, Andrew Ludy.
And your friendly neighborhood host, Paul Canner.
I like that one. We have a whole lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we do.
But first, Brett, you want to say hi to all the people out there?
Hello to all the people out there.
Brett, what gets you out of bed every day?
Oof.
Woof.
That is a really hefty question to start with.
She didn't want me to ask her, tell us about
Well,
yourself.
that's
Because that's
more
like an
boring
elevator pitch.
Well, it is. I mean, I can give it to you, but
I
it's
don't know.
pretty. It's
I want to
pretty
know why
boring.
you get out of bed every morning.
Well, mostly because I wake up, and I think that helps. Is that I wake up in the morning, and then
That does.
it starts things off great. Yeah, and then I think that a big reason that I like to get out of bed in the morning is to help people and serve people really well. So I think I go through my day trying to figure out how to do that the best that I can.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Paul, do you want to answer that question?
Oh, I have to answer it?
Yeah, Paul.
You don't
why
have
do get out
to,
of
but
bed
if you
in the
want
morning?
to.
Why do I get out of bed in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a doozy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get out of bed in the morning to live the best life that I possibly can, given the circumstances that I'm in.
Fair enough. My alarm clock is the reason I get out of bed every morning.
Wow,
Of course you
okay,
would. Of course
okay.
you would. I am not surprised in
Oh,
the slightest.
man.
How many alarms do you set?
Call me out.
Ooh,
Like
Yeah.
over 20.
20 alarms.
I sleep through like 15 of
No.
them. I half sleep through 3 of them. And then finally the last 2 are what I wake up to.
20
So
alarms.
when we were in college, he would have his
We were
phone alarms.
roommates.
He would have Alexa alarm.
Shut up, Alexa. We have one in the room. No.
Sorry. And an Amazon thing alarm.
The Amazon Echo alarm.
Oh,
Even that
there it
works.
goes.
No,
And then
Alexa.
some other alarm. You had like an actual alarm clock or something.
Yeah, I had a real one. I had my phone, and I had the Echo.
Wow.
And they all were alternating times and alternating sounds.
So I would like to argue that your alarm clock does not get you out of bed in the morning.
No.
If it
But
takes
it
you
finally
20
does.
tries.
I'm a deep sleeper. So, like, each one brings me up a level to eventually wake up. I've also been known to have full conversations while I'm asleep.
I've done that before.
Yep.
Paul has called me apparently a few times, and I've talked to him. Or did it ever happen while we were roommates? Did you ever
Yeah.
just talk? Yeah.
That happened to me. I sometimes sleep talk, and Leah gets real freaked out.
It's not even sleep talking. Like, he'll ask me, hey, do you
No,
want
like,
to go do
he's, like,
this?
completely.
I have a full-on
But
conversation,
you're asleep.
but I'm asleep.
That is called sleep talking.
But I'm, like, cognizant of enough to answer his questions, set a date and time.
Do you remember it the next day?
No.
It's like half sleep talking.
Yeah. So, like, I look awake, but I don't remember it when I
No,
actually wake
he's
up.
awake, but he just doesn't remember it.
Like, people have called me, and I, like, answer the phone. Let's say I was sleeping, have a full conversation, and then...
So every morning, do you check your messages and your phone
No,
calls? to
'cause it doesn't
see
happen
just
that
in case?
often.
Okay.
well, maybe it has, and I just don't know it. The only time I've noticed is one when Paul told me, or people who apparently had called me, like, hey, do you remember this? Or, hey, are we still good for this? And I'm like,
I'm gonna start texting you that
what do you
in the
mean?
morning and be like, "Hey, are we still on for tonight?" And you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, what did I say?"
so I also sleep text too, apparently, because, like, when I woke up.
This could get really fun for me.
No, I shouldn't be telling you
I
this.
don't know why
Because
I haven't had more
I
fun
go
with
back
Seriously.
and I look and I'm like, when did I ever send that? Or they, like, text me again later that day and I'm like, what's this to? And I scroll up and I'm like, great. You know, it's awesome. So I'm very deep sleeper. Anyway,
Me too.
to digress, the alarm clock eventually
Alright.
gets me out of bed.
That's
And then I go
But really,
do
it's your
cool
core.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's my muscles. That's true. Anyway, today we're going to be talking a lot about the idea of dreaming and just kind of have a conversation about where we see people doing that today, if people even do it, how adults dream, if so, like, is it possible, what's holding back? And the reason I think this is a cool topic for Brett is just because she's someone I think dreams a lot and goes big, and her saying is actually stay kid. And I do want to talk a little bit about that. And fun fact, there should be a blog post up by now that's written by Brett. So go check it out, and it's actually similar. So to kind of kick this conversation off, I'll ask you two both a question of, like, when was the last time you dreamed of something and went for it?
You want to take that one, Paul, or you want me to start?
You go first.
I think that my most recent dream or aspiration, I guess, I've been developing it for a while, and so I've talked to a lot of my friends about it. Both of you know, obviously, but I think writing a book has been up on my list of dreams for a really long time, and I'm so excited about the prospect of publishing something and holding something in my hands that belongs to me, and it's something that I created. And I think that ultimately, if it ends up helping other people and people resonate with it, is really, really cool. But I think mostly it's just the idea of creating something tangible that is like the essence of me, and like something that came directly from my heart and my soul. And so being able to see that in a physical form is something I'm really excited about.
Have you started, like, have you gotten a decent amount? Where are you at?
So kind of I don't know. I don't have a timeline right now.
Okay.
I think that when I kind of pigeonhole myself into a timeline, I don't do great with that. But maybe I should also have a little bit more discipline. But right now, I'm kind of, the way that I have it structured is another one of my sayings is live life in full color. So that's going to be the title of my book.
I love
Sneak
that.
peek is life in full color. And so the idea is that each page will be a different shade or a different color.
Oh.
Yeah. So like it'll go yellow to yellow. And so each page will be a different shade, and it'll go through the whole rainbow. And so each page will have a different poem on it, because what I do is I write poetry. And so it'll have something that resonates with that color, and there's a whole slew of things that I could tell you about color psychology and color theory, and a million articles and books that I've read about it. But each page will have a color and a poem that resonate with each other, because people they resonate with certain colors based on their feelings and what's going on in their life at the time. So then they're able to pick out what might be happening for them at the moment. And so
That's so cool.
What I've done.
Yeah, I would totally buy that book.
So kind of what I have so far is just like a layout of the colors that I'll be using, and then I've been plugging in poems as I write them. So I'm not quite sure how long it's going to be, but I'm thinking it's going to be around 80 to 100 pages, which means that's a lot of poems.
It's a lot of colors.
So, it's a lot of colors.
Yeah. Don't hold me to that,
cool.
but that's my idea right now.
I'm going to hold you to it.
Please don't.
Yeah,
If
we're
it
going to
comes
hold
out
you to
with
it.
79 or 101,
Ugh.
not buying it.
All right. If that's what it takes. Okay.
No, that's really cool. I actually didn't know half that stuff. I only knew you were writing a book. I didn't know about the colors. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, so that's my idea right now. So I'm hoping that I'm trying to figure out the world of self-publishing right now. That's kind of next on my list of what to research. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I think that's kind of the fun of it, is that I have no clue. I have no idea. And so the only way I can find out is by kind of pushing myself to figure it out. And so I'm just kind of chasing it.
So you would say you're unaware?
Yes, I am unaware.
Every dang episode. He's got to throw a pun in there.
I have to.
I am unaware. I have no idea how to do it.
She set me up for it. Like,
I did. I teed it up for you.
So perfectly.
Okay, well, going off the whole unaware thing, you obviously don't know where you're going. What is driving you to do that?
I think mostly it's just like the dream of wanting something physical. I think for a long time that I've written in journals, and I have a gazillion diaries, and I think that is a really cool tangible aspect of my poetry. And then I kind of switched over to the digital platform, and I have Instagram, and I have Facebook and the website and all that, which is cool, but it's just nothing that is like end to end, something that I'm really that's beautiful and I'm proud of, and that I feel like is something I want to share with people. So it's mostly just like it's been sitting on my list of dreams that I want to accomplish, and so I'm really pumped about that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Paul, I don't know how you're gonna.
I don't know how I'm gonna follow that up.
You don't have to one up it. This isn't a competition.
I'm not saying that I need to one up it, but like
that. I mean, that's a cool.
That
dream.
was just so like well said, and like
Thank
that's a dream
Thanks.
that I'm so happy for you, and like
Thank you.
to be able to actually write a book, like that's so cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'll keep you updated. I have no
I mean,
idea.
just when was the last time you felt like you dreamed, or you can even take it as the route of like what's holding you back from dreaming.
Ooh. Okay. So one of my dreams in like the past year and a half, me and Luke were actually planning on starting a YouTube channel for disc golf. And like with COVID and everything, and I moved out of the house, and we just don't see each other as much anymore. He works more, I work every day. It just got pushed back, and we didn't really plan anything. We didn't get the equipment. We didn't do anything. But it's a dream, and we still want to do it eventually. But it just kind of got put on the back burner for the time being.
Do you have like an idea of when you're gonna start it, or is it just kind of slowly falling?
I don't even know. I need to talk to him about it again. See if he still wants to do that.
So what kind of spurred the dream? Like what started it to be like, yeah, YouTube channel is like what I'm running after and like what I'm pursuing?
I think we both we're just like we want to like create something for people to like enjoy. Like we had good ideas. Like we were gonna like record ourselves like playing rounds, like doing like crazy back switch stuff. There's like a card game that Andrew got me called Rip Revenge.
What is that?
It's a pretty fun card game.
It's like a disc golf card game where they have, what are they called? Prompts on the cards.
Yes.
And it would be throw a backhand on this hole, throw a forehand on this hole, forehand
Pick
roller,
any disc
whatever.
out of someone's bag. They have to use
So
it next
you play
round.
the card game as you're playing disc
Yes.
golf?
Yeah.
It's actually really fun.
Okay.
We did it once.
That's cool.
But like, yeah, we had like all these ideas, and then it just died.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're looking to rekindle, or are you trying to like find the right time? What's kind of holding you back from starting it now?
I honestly don't know, because like I just don't have time
Yeah,
to
that's real.
to even
valid.
play disc golf anymore.
Yeah.
Like before Friday, the last time I played disc golf was September 25th.
A while ago.
Yeah.
For those of you guys,
gonna
it's
say.
now October 10th at point of recording. This will not be live for a while, but October 10th is the current date.
So like 15 days.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's a long hiatus.
That's
for
a
you.
long time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But another dream that I think is more attainable is to, one, go to all 50 states, but two,
That'd be cool.
to play disc golf in all 50 states.
How many do you have checked off your list?
I think I'm at like 15 or
Really?
something.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was more than I thought.
Yeah.
Play disc golf in 15 states?
Something like that.
That's pretty good.
I got all the ones around here. I got Colorado,
Yeah.
Alabama, New York,
Oh, Niagara Falls.
Michigan. I'm not gonna count them all, but like it's like somewhere around 15.
That's great.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah,
I feel like
so I feel like that one is more attainable.
I would beg to differ. I don't know that either one is more attainable than the other. I think it's just whichever one you're trying to pursue first.
Yeah.
I think that
Well,
both
it's
are
like a long-term
attainable.
one.
Yeah.
The States one is a long-term one.
You could also make that part of said YouTube channel.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
Just an idea, just to put that out there.
I think we had that idea too. We're just gonna travel. I was like, Luke, I'm gonna go on a tour of a bunch of states this summer, and you can come with me if you want. But I'm gonna start like the YouTube channel and just film in different states. And it never happened. I don't know. Did I get a job? That's probably what happened.
So one thing I want to like bring up, because I feel like that's how a lot of people end up treating their dreams. right? So you have this dream of making a YouTube channel with Luke.
Mm-hmm.
It's something you really, really want to do, something you want to chase, and then life gets busy. And then it keeps falling behind, and then, eventually, I'll get there one day. And I feel like so many people just keep, like, not treating their dreams as a priority. Because it's a dream. It's not like, real life, my day, how I get fed. But it's something you still want to do. And it's just, like, to me, I view the world and I just see everyone just continually putting off their dreams.
I think a really big factor of that, though, I think it is people not treating it like a priority. I think is a big part of it. But I think another one is that it's scary. It's vulnerable to share your dreams with people because it's typically the thing that you hold really close to your heart. And so you're like, I really care about this thing and I want to pursue it. But it's like, it's difficult to share with people sometimes because you're like, what if they don't get it? What if this makes me feel weird? What if I'm opening my heart to someone who like doesn't quite understand where I'm coming from or who isn't going to support me? And so I think it's a scary step to share your dreams with someone. And I think a lot of the time people don't have accountability. So it's like I can hold this book idea really near and dear to my heart and I can tell a few people about it. But if I don't have anyone holding me accountable to it, it can be like my top priority. But if I have nobody who's like pushing me or urging me forward or encouraging me in my journey, then of course it's not going to happen.
Let me ask this. Like, do you think everyone dreams still? Like, because my first blog post, if you want to go back to it, I talked about how I feel like a lot of people have lost the ability to even dream. Or we don't even know what dreaming is. It's just like,
What is dreaming?
I don't know. I think everyone has to, like, explain that to themselves. If we want to go there, like, what is dreaming to you guys? What is it to, I don't know. I just feel like people don't dream. You want to know what my definition of dreaming is? It's a toughie, Paul.
You're asking us all these hard questions.
Hey, I know.
You gotta return the favor.
I think it could be a mixture of things. One of it is something your heart desires, and maybe it's not super easy to attain, but it could be. You know, it's like it could be a mixture of goals or an endpoint or something you just want to try or a place you want to go. Like, I dream of going to Switzerland. Like, one day I want to go to Switzerland.
Me too.
But I also dreamt of starting a podcast. And then, like, it could be a task, it could be an action, or it just could be something. I don't know. Maybe it's just something in the future that has a lot of my heart driving me there. But I also don't really know how to put dreaming into words.
I think that's kind of the beauty of it is that it's really different for everybody. So you can have your own definition and everyone else is going to have their own too. I think that it's oftentimes looked at as this thing that's like you dream big and you have to have this massive thing that you're looking to do. Like, I want to travel the world, or like, I want to go to the moon, or like whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Do you want to go to space? That is a dream.
I mean, that'd be so cool, right? But I think that what's even cooler is when you dream small and you're like, this is something that has a piece of my heart. And I think that's a really good point. But it doesn't necessarily have to be this like grand thing. It can be something as simple as you want to make it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We need to dream smaller.
I mean, I think we just need to dream.
Period.
And I think people are scared of it, or kind of like you said, people are scared of sharing it. But in a way, we've gotten to a point where a lot of people aren't real with themselves to even sit there and answer, what are my dreams? Like, sure, someone would be like, oh, I dream of doing this. But I don't know, part of me is skeptical that that is even their real dream of who they are and where they want to go.
So
It's
do you
just
think
something.
it's a lack of self-awareness?
In a way, maybe. Or, you know, the world has just shoved so much messaging of what your dreams should be down your throat that you're like, oh, I want the American dream, or, you know, high school football, I want to play professional. And it's just because everyone's telling you you should go play professional. But is that truly, I mean, pull up High School Musical, the guy who was playing basketball and cooking. You know, like that, I feel like that happens so much more in this world, but we never admit it because we're never able to tell people. But also, I think we're not even able to admit it to ourselves. At least I wasn't.
I think a lot of people are like scared to like actually share their dreams with people because like I had it in my head. I lost it. Let me start over. I think a lot of people are like scared because they're worried about like what people are gonna think of. Like if you put your dream out there, like you're writing a book, that's like an actual thing.
Very
I want to
vulnerable.
start, like people can read it, people can look at it. I want to start a YouTube channel. People can look at it, people can watch that stuff. You feel like you're gonna get judged no matter what because like it's raw. It's like it's you, and it's something that you've created. And I think people are scared and that they're going to get judged.
So how do we get over that? Like, how do we change it?
Beats me.
We talked a little bit
Okay.
about it in the
Yeah.
conformity versus individualism episode, but it's kind of just finding the balance of, I feel like you just have to get quiet enough to listen to yourself. You can't keep listening to the world and your friends and what they say about you.
Yeah.
You just got to stop worrying about it, which is so hard to do. Don't get me wrong. Like, I still care what my friends think about or what Instagram, how many likes, like little things like that, they play on my brain. But I try not to. And I try and get quiet enough to be the point where, okay, what do I say about me? Where's my heart want to go? And this is very recent development on like the whole emotional building of me being intimate and vulnerable and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
That plays into it. Because before, I never cared what anyone thought about me because I don't care, but I did, So I don't know. I think dreams do play into that, but I don't know. It's hard to have that individual dream versus a conformity dream.
I think what's cool about it and something that I've developed over time is I think that there's two camps. There's someone who is like, screw everything, I don't care what people think at all. And they just kind of do their own thing. And whether or not they do care is questionable, but they're like, I don't care about anything. And then there's this other group of people who are like, I care about what everybody thinks. And then it's just like both of them are devastating in their own ways. And I think that they're detrimental to what you're doing. But I think that this kind of beautiful in-between that I have kind of discovered, which is not perfect yet, but is it's finding that like I don't have to care what everybody thinks, but I do care about what like 4 or 5 people think. I care very deeply about what my people think, and that doesn't mean that everyone who is my friend, I'm like deeply valuing their opinion, which I do care, but I really weight what some people think. And so I'll go to them for advice. I'll be the first to take their opinion. I'll be all ears for what they have to tell me rather than being open to what anyone could tell me or being closed off to everybody. I think that there's
a level of trust and respect that plays into it.
Right. So it's like these friendships and relationships that I've developed to be incredibly deep, and then I'm able to use those as kind of my sounding board moving forward of like, hey, what does this look like to you? Like, can you give me advice on how to move forward? Can you tell me where I'm going wrong? Can you give me feedback? And then I know that it's something that goes both ways, and we're able to both progress from that relationship.
I like that because like while you're saying that, this popped in my head of like there's a difference between like conformity of peer pressure, but then there's also like inspiring the people around you. That's kind of what you're getting at, is the people that are so close in your circle, you can build off each other and dream together too.
Well, yeah,
like,
and then that brings in the whole point of accountability, where you're like this, like I have this dream, and I have these people who are also supporting my dream, and in return, I'm supporting their dream, and I'm supporting what they're doing, and helping them chase after what they want to do.
No, I think that's huge because, I mean, I've told you this, Paul, that I'm glad you're on this with me, because when you're creating something, like, yeah, this is one of my dreams, but you're hopping on and dreaming with me, and it's so much easier to sit there and be like, all right, we're going to do an episode today. If I was by myself and I'm tired, long weekend, whatever it is, odds are, I like to say I have a lot of drive and discipline, but I probably wouldn't have done it, right? And so I think it helps having the community of people with you to even push you and help you dream.
Yeah, for sure. I think dreaming does take drive and discipline, but I think that it also takes a lot of community to help you push through the weird times and the hard times and the good times. Because you need someone there to celebrate with you, and you need someone there to cry with you.
Yeah, I like how you said you have like 4 or 5 people. Like that's such a tight knit people that you can just go to and figure out how you can make your dream happen, like actually happen.
Right.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Like you
Thanks.
found the middle ground, and like you said, it's not perfect. You're
Right.
still figuring it out,
Right.
but that's okay.
Right. I don't know if it's 4, 5, 6. I don't know what the number
17.
should be for
There-
everyone.
27.
Everyone's number's
I
different.
think everyone is
Everyone
different.
has a different number.
But I do really
Yeah.
think that it's best when you're not valuing everyone's opinion, but you're also not valuing nobody's opinion.
I think that makes the most sense, and I think some people actually do that subconsciously. They're like, I care what these people think, but not really what these people think. Like, I don't care as much. Like, they kind of do it subconsciously.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell like a bunch of people stuff, but like the people I really care about and like their opinion matters to me. Like, I know they'll give me good advice or
Right.
good suggestions. Those are the people where I actually take what they say like seriously and go along with whatever they have to say.
For sure.
One thing that popped in my mind, and this is going to kind of transfer the conversation, is, you know, eventually we got to the point where we either care too much or care too little as adults, right? But look back to when you were a kid, it didn't matter. You just dreamed. You viewed the world as a big sandbox that you could do anything and be anything. And then as years have gone by and as I've gotten older, the world is no longer this castle of dreams. It's now this stressful office, you know, or whatever you want to call it, whatever people, you know, like, I don't know. When did that switch? Why does adulthood have to be like that? And Brett, like, you have this whole thing, stay kid. So I'm sure we'll get into that, but I don't know. That's
Should
just
write a book on that too.
I am thinking about it.
she's just gonna be an author.
I'm gonna try to be an author.
I think you
Yeah.
could do it.
Yeah, I think that I have a lot of ideas about Stay Kid and kind of what that means, but I don't know. I don't know when it exactly happens, like when the switch that you're talking about occurs, because I think it changes for everybody. But I think that kids specifically, like this sentence that rings in my brain every time I think about children is, I'm like, kids are so overwhelmingly themselves. They don't know to be anyone else except for who they are. They don't have the peer pressure. They don't have the judgment. They don't have the self-consciousness that we kind of take on as we go through like middle school and high school and like all those
Middle
awkward
school
years.
years.
Yeah, it's
No.
horrible. It's horrible. But I think that kids before that are just so, they're so innocent and their brains are so, like, they're soaking in everything. And so I think before they hit the point where they're like, oh my gosh, I'm really self-conscious about everything, there's this beautiful moment in like several years where they're able to do anything. And they think that they can do anything, and then they do whatever they can.
And they don't care what
They
people
don't
think.
care. And it's really, really cool. It's incredibly
Carefree.
inspiring. Yeah.
You know what sucks is if you act like that, you know, you're still with immaturity as an adult, people look at you weird and look at you funny and judge you and are like, you're weird.
But the cool part is I have 4 or 5 people who think I'm great.
That's true.
And
There
I'm
it is.
like,
or 6 or 7.
or
Or
6 or
27.
whatever, however many people. But that's the thing is, I'm like, these other people who look at me weird and they think that I'm funny for like laughing a lot and doing cartwheels and acting like a kid when I like brings me so much joy to be childlike. They just don't understand, and that's okay. And I hope that someday that they will, and maybe they'll discover it for themselves and figure out like what their inner child is saying. But I think that the people who need to accept me do already.
So how do we help people get to that point? Because I'm under the belief that is a better life, that it's more fun, it's creative, you know, no matter who you are. But yet people get like build up so many walls and get old, quote unquote, and just get mean.
Old.
Old, quote unquote. The age, or, you know, like an angry
You are
old
getting
man.
older.
Exactly. But it's like tied to the age thing is, oh, you get meaner as you get older, or you get less, oh, you know, whatever. How do we help people stay kid? I don't know.
I really do think it's sort of a self-reflection situation where you kind of have to figure out who you are and figure out what being a kid looks like for you, because I think it's different for everybody. I think that not everyone is going to go cartwheeling down the street. I think that
I can't do a cartwheel.
I can teach you.
I think that that's not necessarily the route for everyone, but I think that there are ways, like small ways, to incorporate childlikeness within your everyday, and I think it just takes a self-reflection to figure out what that looks like for you.
Interesting. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this past weekend, me and a couple of my friends, we were at an Airbnb, and we had a spike ball, right? Like we had spike ball, and
Great game.
We got kind of bored with playing spike ball, so we just started making up our own games. Like we were throwing the ball over the roof and like trying to catch it, like because we didn't know where exactly it was coming. We were just doing all these crazy things, and I was like, this is like I feel like a kid right now, like like an older kid, obviously not like a young kid trying to throw a ball on top of the roof. But yeah, I felt like
feel
a kid.
It's being aware of those moments where you're like, I am laughing so hard and I'm having such a good time, and
Yeah,
and
and
I feel like a kid,
we're
and it's
24
Yeah.
years old.
and I think that it's just repeating scenarios like that where you're able to recognize that you're feeling like a kid, and then incorporating more of that into your life.
Mm-hmm.
That sparked a story just because now I'm thinking of like how recent this was for Justin Fisher's wedding. We had a bachelor party, and the day of his wedding, we all were like jacking around, like messing around, you know, whatever, right? And we were in the hotel pool, like all 11 of us dudes. And we started just slapping the water, jumping around, doing a huge wave pool,
Yes.
belly flops. And we actually like got to a point where Justin came in late. We all started circling him and just splashing the water as hard as we could.
That's fun.
And then one of the guys there was like 27, and he said, "This is the most kid thing I've done in years." But we were all laughing and smiling and having the best time. And now even me thinking about it, I'm just smiling because it was just such a pure fun moment of splashing around in the water, right? I don't know. I feel like when you do those, it shouldn't even be a kid thing. It should just be a life thing.
Well, yeah, and really ultimately what I think of when I think of Stay Kid, it's purely laughter that you're really after. In this, you're just trying to figure out what it is that makes you laugh, and then in turn feel like a kid. I've read several articles about this, so bear with me here.
Lay it on.
But there's a study that has been done that kids laugh 300 to 400 times a day, whereas adults laugh 17 to 20.
Stop.
I've seen numbers lower.
Yeah. So I mean that can fluctuate based on like whatever.
But it's just
study is
saying
done.
drastic.
But there's a massive difference in how much you're laughing, and it's because kids find everything funny. They think that everything is hilarious, and they can find the most pure joy in the tiniest little thing. And I think that we kind of lose that as we grow older, because we're like, there's more responsibility, and there's a lot, you're maturing, and you're trying to figure out the world. And so I think to some extent, like, I think that laughter does go down a little bit, and it kind of makes sense with the way that you're seeing the world. But at some point, you have to like step back and be like, I have laughed 3 times today. Maybe I should try to do something that's going to make me laugh.
Well, and think about it. A lot of people sit behind a desk 8 hours of the day, type. And then you go home and you're tired, and then you sit down and watch Netflix and go to bed.
Yeah.
Because I saw, this was on Instagram, so who knows how legit this was, but like the average of like a 30-year-old plus smiles 8 times a day. Yeah. 8. Whereas like the kid was like 700 and whatever, you know? And, you know, I thought about it and I'm like, no, I smile a lot. I'm very easy to make laugh. And then I realized now that I sit at work, I don't. I just sit there with my stone cold RBF and work. And that's something that I like, it just bothers me, you know?
Yeah, I feel like a really good way to make yourself laugh, it's just being aware of like how frequently you're laughing, and then trying to increase it consciously. It's sometimes difficult, though, to try to make yourself laugh. I mean, it's like, I don't know what to do to make myself laugh. That's a really complicated thing to figure out sometimes. So oftentimes what I have found is just like trying to make somebody else laugh makes me laugh in turn. Like if I'm trying to trying to get somebody else to laugh, I'm going to laugh because I feel dumb. Like I just feel stupid for trying to make them laugh. But it's a really good way to like kind of encourage on both ends an additional, like that's just another piece of data in that in that statistic.
I think it just comes down to having friends that you can laugh with. That's just the only thought that's coming on my mind.
Oh, for sure.
Like you're 4 to 5 people.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. It's so much easier to laugh with people.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, that makes sense. You're not just going to sit there in
You
bed
just
like,
laughed right there.
well, I'm with you guys. So you just laugh.
Checks out.
Checks the box.
Dude, I laugh a lot during the podcast.
Before the podcast, too. Trying to get it started, Paul.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
First 5 minutes are brutal.
Couldn't stop laughing.
I had the giggles.
No, I love those moments when you can't stop laughing. Me
for
and
no
Ryan
reason
Fair,
too.
Yeah.
dude, all the time because we stay up till like 3 a.m. Or one time we went climbing a mountain in the middle of the night and we ended up like setting camp at 4 a.m., right? And we start going to bed and we just cannot stop laughing for 20 minutes. Then you know how you try and stop laughing and then you start laughing again? We finally got to maybe a minute of silence and then a pine cone fell and hit our tent and then we lost it for another 10 minutes and we like my abs were so sore and you just couldn't stop laughing.
But aren't those the best moments? Those are
like,
the best.
and you're trying to stop, but you just can't.
I feel like those make the
I
most
feel like
memorable
we had
times
some
too.
nights like that.
Oh yes. Well, living with you, I never slept. Yeah. Good times though.
Good times.
Sleep deprived Andrew was much easier to laugh too. I don't know. No, I definitely think laughing is good for the soul and just makes you a better person. Makes you loose and I don't know. But
For sure.
why are you looking at me like that, Paul?
I'm smiling. I made you laugh.
You did because you were looking at me funny. It was funny.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
I know. I'm easy to make laugh though.
Hey, you looking at me funny.
Try not to laugh.
Oh my gosh.
Did it. Anyway, before we go to the next topic, there is a quick thing I want to say because we have a message from our sponsor.
We have a sponsor?
We do. ProjectUnaware.com.
Hey.
AKA my bank account, AKA Project Unaware. Please go check it out. There's a bunch of blogs written by me, Paul, Brett. Go check it out and then let us know what you think because that's our sponsor until we get other sponsors.
Shout out to them.
It's the best one, though. They're great to work with. They're good dudes. I've talked to them a lot.
Yeah.
They're sarcastic, witty, and they dream and they laugh. So I like to work with them a lot. You know?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
All right, go check them out. But, yeah, that was a message from our sponsors. Now, guys, you said this earlier. I got to remember how you said it. Like creating with people, and then I kind of even mentioned it with Paul. I don't know if you remember this, but we were getting dinner at Monroe Park. And we were talking about the struggle of Brett Makes Things and how like creating with people versus creating for yourself. I want to get into that. But first, so people can know, do you want to talk and tell us a little bit about Brett Makes Stuff for Brett Makes Things?
All right, Andrew. It's called Brett Makes Things.
But you make stuff for Brett Makes Things.
I do.
Yeah. Good try, buddy.
Yeah.
I was throwing in the joke because I said it before. Okay.
That's true. No. Yeah, Brett Makes Things is basically an online space. Right now it exists on Instagram primarily, but I do have a website, brettschaaf.com, where you can find Brett Makes Things prints on there, and just kind of a little bit more of an overview of what I do. But essentially, it's a creative space where I can be as chaotic as I want. I'm not great at explaining it because I don't think that it has boundaries exactly. A lot of the time I'm just creating, and mostly it shows up as poetry just because that is where my head goes first, but sometimes I will design things. Sometimes I'll write long form or blog style or I don't know, just different forms of writing. Oftentimes, though, it does show up as poetry. So I just make a mess and I try to figure out life, and it's all based on my perspective on what I'm going through, or what I have friends going through, or what I'm experiencing in the world. And so it's just chaos on a screen. But I love it, and it's super fun, and it's for me, and if people benefit from it, then that is awesome. And so I hope that people do. That's kind of, I want to say that's why I'm doing it, but ultimately it's like an online diary. It really is just kind of like where my brain is at, and then people are able to see it, which is cool and vulnerable, but yeah, then if they resonate, then that's awesome.
And apply it to their life.
Yeah, they can figure out how it can help them, hopefully.
I actually have one of your poems up off of Brett Makes Things on the Instagram.
Yes.
I might butcher how you are meant it, but I'm going to read it like this.
Great. Please do.
The caption is, "Here's your permission slip to create freely." I like that. So it starts off with saying, "If you're searching for permission to simply create without inhibition, something natural, something true, without the pressure of the to-do, invite yourself to make a mess. Your outputs don't need to impress. Peace is kinder than control. Clenched fists weaken the soul. Lay down the pressure of perfection. Walk in the freedom of expression. Abandon all your expectation for the simple joy found in creation." I was going through a lot of them today and trying to figure out ones that like I wanted to read out loud, just because, granted, I'm a huge fan. Like, I love these. I read them out whenever they come out, just because knowing you and knowing this, it's just like, yeah, that's Brett.
Yeah.
But I love this one because it's all about creation and creating something and being able to not care what other people think, not having permission. And one thing,
I mean, that poem sounds like exactly what she was saying.
Yeah. I know. It kind of worked perfectly.
Like with what Brett Makes Things is actually about.
No, really, that is.
The one thing I like is, even you did your clench your fist, but clenched fist weaken the soul. 'Cause it's just like you're so aggressive. And I don't know, it's so cool to see you create. But this poem just plays out perfectly for why I'm doing this and why I think people should be creative. And it's just cool. So that brings me to kind of what I wanted to bring up is when we were having our conversation at said picnic table.
Yes.
We were talking about, actually, that did kind of kick off the idea of Project Unaware down the road, because it started off with me deciding to go backpack and then leading to, well, I want to interview people there for culture, and then that led into eventually doing a podcast for Project Unaware. So thank Brett for all this, essentially.
Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Brett. Enough about me. What we ended up talking about was you and Brett Makes Things. And you'd kind of shared that at times it is difficult to have that discipline, to get there and create, to be by yourself in this and make this stuff, even for yourself.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of ask, like, how has that been going? But also, you know, what drives you to continue to create things for Brett Makes Things? Because I feel like so many people in their dreams, they get burnt out. Yeah. So, you know, how do you play in that world?
Oof, that's a good question. There's a couple things that I do. It's funny, like whenever I feel like I'm in a dry spell with writing, there's like it's difficult to draw inspiration when you don't feel inspired. Like it's so challenging to figure out like what to do about it. And so I think that when I don't really want to push through, like when I'm not feeling it, there's this thing that I've tried to do that it's actually very, very beneficial, is just write for 15 minutes a day. And normally it just sucks. Like it's horrible writing. And it's just like, I'm just sitting there like typing out everything I feel or like writing it physically. And nothing ever like comes from it. But sometimes I'll like pull a line and I'm like, oh, that could be something someday. Yeah.
Highlight that. So we'll circle back.
Yeah. So it's like, it's the discipline factor of continuing to do it even when I don't feel like it. So but that in itself is really challenging to do as well. So I'm not perfect at it, at like doing that every day. But I think that when I'm like, dang, I want to continue with this and I want to keep pursuing it, then I'm like, okay, I better like kick it into gear and like start writing every day, because that doesn't mean that something is going to come from it every day. It oftentimes means that it's not, and it's going to be few and far between for sometimes, and then sometimes it's going to be every day that I'm like whipping out something that I think is profound. But yeah, but I think it just takes some discipline there and figuring out like how to consistently take action. But it is challenging. But I think what brings me back to it, and the reason that I do it, is because I feel like myself when I'm creating. And when I try to figure out like what's going wrong sometimes in my life, where I'm like, I don't feel like myself anymore. Like I feel so bogged down with all of these responsibilities and all these things and everything that's going on. I'm like, okay, well, where do I feel most like myself? And what am I doing in those moments where I feel like me? And it always ends up coming back to when I'm writing, when I'm creating, and when I'm doing something with Brett Makes Things, I feel so like myself that oftentimes when I've lost my way and I'm like not really sure what's going on, then I'll just come straight back to it. And I'm like, okay, I know that this makes me feel like me. So even if I don't feel it right now or tomorrow or the next day or the next day, I know that at some point I will. And so it's just like kind of my compass where I'm like, if I know it makes me feel like me, why am I not doing it? And so I just go straight back in. And then that is kind of what kickstarts my drive again.
It's almost like a foundation or like a haven of sorts to just fall back on. And do you have anything like that, Paul?
Like, that makes me feel like myself?
Mm-hmm. Because I don't know if I do.
I don't know if I have discovered it like Brett.
She makes cool stuff.
It's always cut and dry.
I know.
I don't think that
it's messy.
Like a thing that you do when you don't feel like yourself. I think it's maybe people that you spend time with, or it's like a small thing here or there. You're like, oh, I feel like myself when I go on a drive with the windows down. Like it could be so specific, or it could be super, super broad. You could be like, I feel like myself when I'm traveling, take a weekend trip. I feel like myself when I spend time with Andrew and Paul, like ask them to hang out. Like it's just it's just like stuff like that you just have to figure out, like, because it's not only Brett Makes Things that makes me feel like myself. That's just like it is a big factor though. So it's like spending time with people I love and care about, and it's Brett Makes Things, and it's spending time with Jesus, and it's like doing a whole bunch of things. But I think that there are like ways to find your way back, and if you know what a couple of those are, then it's easy to use those as a reference.
I agree. It's just where I'm coming up with trouble is like who I am. I feel like I just bounce around between 100 different things. Like I will go snowboarding, mountain biking, climbing, like list it. I'll do it for maybe a few weeks here and there, and I enjoy it, and then it's on to the next thing. And I don't know. It feels weird to say like, oh, just doing something new every week is my foundation, because that's not quite what it is. It's just a part of my habit and what I do, but I don't know if I have like something foundational that I just always go to find and feel like myself. If that makes sense at all.
No, it does.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I'm struggling to think of something that I
am
consistently do. Maybe just because I don't know. I don't think I get bored easily, but maybe I get bored easily because I do so many random things.
Andrew,
is that do you guys think I get bored easily?
Stop.
Okay, but do I get bored easily, guys? I need you to be honest.
Bored. I don't know about bored. I don't know if that's the right word to use.
I think you're just ambitious.
I think you get excited about new things.
It's just being nice.
No.
We're just
we know
honest.
you. Do you know yourself?
I don't know.
No, I think you just get excited about new things, and I don't think that's a problem. So it might not be like a thing specifically that you come back to.
It might just be new things.
It could be a feeling. It could be like something you're chasing. It could be like, it could be a handful of things. A dozen things. Like, I don't know.
It's just something I'll probably think about.
Yeah,
I've never really thought about something like that.
One.
Yeah. Like, I know who I am, but I don't know, like, what thing. I guess just being with people, like, my people, is what makes me feel like me. I feel like maybe that's what it is.
I was thinking something along those lines for
Like,
myself.
just
Like,
relationships in general with people I love.
Yeah, like with my people or, like,
My squad.
honestly, like, by myself, too. Like, I feel very much like myself when I'm just, like, sitting in my room, just taking in. I don't have to be in my room. Like, I can be outside, just taking in the nature. Yeah, just solitary time.
Yeah, that's huge. That's awesome.
I think I figured it out. Well, not figured out, because it can be multiple things and it's
Right,
messy.
Sure.
Conversations with people, which, to be fair, is why I've been wanting to do a podcast for so long.
Well, then that makes sense.
It does. It does make sense, but I don't know. I just love talking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with
So
that.
it's quality time, though.
Yeah, 100%
Not just
quality
any
time.
conversation,
No.
like quality conversation.
No. If
with
it's like,
people to make
hey,
you
how's your
feel
day? Oh, it's great. I'm like, no, it's fake. How's your actual, like, how's your day going? Good, bad, ugly, horrible? Tell me about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That makes sense.
I'm going to go with that. Yep, we're sticking with that one.
What was that?
Talking with people,
Talking with
quality
people.
time,
Quality time.
relationships, the whole nine. But no, for real, I'm just going to probably think about that. But I mean, you know, you have a point. Like, it is messy. It's weird. It's different. Yourself, even you grow and change. Like, the amount of things I have, like, had as a foundation that just disappears and changes over my life. But a lot.
Yeah.
Like all of us. So, I don't know, just something to think
and
about.
that's the cool thing is that, like, sure, I have, like, a thing. Like, I have Brett Makes Things as, like, my go-to.
It's
but,
her
like,
thing because she makes it.
But I don't know. But I don't know what that means exactly. And it's going to change over time. And, like, I can call it my foundation, but, like, it really is just going to warp and twist and change with me as I grow and I change. So, like, yours being conversations with people is going to warp and change over time, and it's going to, like, it'll still have, like, that same base level where you're like, I want to have in-depth conversations with people to make me feel like myself. But I think that that's going to change in, like, the structure that you have it, and then the place that you have it, and the people that you have it with, and that will change just as mine will change.
I want to add on one more thing.
Yes.
Not to myself. I think, like, Brett Makes Things might be your thing, one of your things, because an identity or a core thing of you is creating something, being creative. And I think that's your avenue for it. I think that maybe that's just where my head is now going, because I'm thinking about, okay, talking to people, that's why I love Project Unaware so much. Just a thought.
And it's like the vehicle to make it happen.
It's the area to create in itself that thing. So for you, Paul, what I was thinking is, like, disc golf functionality to your YouTube channel for disc golf that will eventually be made.
That's true.
So to tie it all together in a nice, pretty bow, I would argue that then isn't dreaming just figuring out who you are and what your core is and what makes you feel like you.
Yeah.
Because if we tie Brett Makes Things, which is something I love to do,
and you dreamed about,
my dream back to, like, what I love to do, which is be creative, and then Project Unaware, which is a dream of yours, based on your conversations with people, and then your disc golf channel, based on what you love to. I just think that it all comes back down to, like, kind of what drives you and what motivates you and who you are, way down deep.
But you have to be able to get there.
Yeah.
And that's harder said than done, but I think, kind of going back to what Brett said, is you have to have the people around you to help you get there and push you. And, I mean, heck, both of you have chiseled away at my walls for years to get me to where I am. And so, I mean, I was brilliant for having you guys around. It's all me, just saying. High five.
All right.
High five. Self five. How I Met Your Mother always finds a way inside one of our episodes.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I think that's a good thought.
Yeah.
It all ties in, and I guess what I'm saying, just with the whole point of this episode, is don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid. Just go for it.
Yeah.
You know, and have people there to pick you up when you fall down.
Yeah. I just think that the first step is just telling somebody what your dream is and trying to figure out what it is. Because I think also it's easier to dream with other people because when someone gets excited about your dream with you, it is 100 times more exciting.
Makes you just like amped up.
Oh, yeah. Like sometimes when I tell people about my dream and they get really excited with me, it's like I feel unstoppable. Like I feel like that is exactly what I'm meant to be doing. It's so exciting. And so I feel like it just takes, number one, figuring out like any sort of dream that you have is okay. Any of it. And if you just tell somebody about it and then get amped.
Yeah, they're going to hype you up.
Yeah, like especially if they're a really good friend of yours or like a family member or someone that you're really close with, then they'll hype you up on it. And then also I think it's just like also asking your friends what their dreams are and then amping them up for it.
And then connecting your dreams together.
And then making a podcast together.
Wow. Crazy how it all works out. No, that's cool. Well, I think we can go ahead and kind of wrap things up there. But I just want to say thanks, Brett, for getting on the pod.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Paul,
for joining us.
I appreciate when I called you back in February and told you about the idea and you were amped and you're like, dude, I'll help.
Bro. I mean, remember starting a podcast was one of my dreams way back then.
I know.
It's just really
Paul
cool
cast.
that we're here. Podcast.
The
I
Paul
Brett was
cast.
there for one of them.
Yeah.
Paul cast.
So it is really exciting to see that like this dream is playing out right now.
Yeah.
It's so fun to be a part of it and to be able to watch you guys do it. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Well, you've inspired us.
You are a part of it.
I'm happy
She
to
is
be
a part of
here.
it. She's writing for us.
Writing
I might as well just hire on as one of our writers, just saying.
It's fine. Sign me up.
Write a book for us. I'll publish it. You know, do anything you want, Brett. I will take anything. But no, I appreciate both you guys. And Paul, do you want to do a challenge for the week?
Ooh, challenge for the week. I would say figure out what your dream is, write it down, tell people.
Writing it down is a big step.
Write it down. Write down your dreams and then tell people. Show people what you wrote down. Yeah. And then take the first step to achieving that dream.
If you feel like you don't have anyone to tell, you can always call one of us.
Please tell me your dream. I would happily hype you up. That would be so. That would be so exciting. I love when people tell me what they're dreaming about because I'm so pumped every time because I feel like it's so achievable and people just don't know because it's so easy to be timid at first. And so whenever someone tells me what they're dreaming about, I'm like, absolutely, you can do it. Like 100% every time.
Huge confidence booster right there. Yeah.
Dream.
You know what that just reminded me of? The Shark Boy and Lava Girl where they're singing the Dream song or whatever. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Neither of you do. That's okay.
The what?
Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Dream. And all he does is just I think it's what's the guy in the werewolf in vampire show Twilight? What's is he the werewolf?
Black-haired
werewolf guy.
Oh, Jacob?
Yes. He's the kid in that movie. He's Shark Boy, and he sings
I've seen
Dream.
Why is that in your head?
Because you said dream, and that's what unlocked that memory.
Oh.
Random tangent. Anyway, Brett, any final thoughts before we hop off?
Yes, my last thought is I think that if it's scary to tell somebody what your dream is, or if you just don't know what your dream is, ask someone what their dream is. I think that's a really good first step if you aren't quite sure what you're doing yet or what your dream is, or if you feel like you're not there yet with a developed dream, or if you're a little bit nervous, ask somebody else first and try to encourage them in their journey. And I think that'll help you figure out how to be vulnerable when it's your turn to tell them what your dream is.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you all listening, and be sure to check out the Instagram. There's actually a couple new ways we are showing the blog. So we're having people actually record themselves and show that up. So you can actually see how they wrote it. You know, I feel like in the blog you can always read it yourself, but now you can see how the author meant it. So check that out. But we will see you next week. So, sleaze.
Sleaze.
Sleaze and stay kid.
Sleaze.
Keep dreaming.
Have to end on a sleaze.
All right, sleaze.
Sleaze.
Yes.